My name is Maitjituavi Kavetu. I'm the area head of legal. I think I had various correspondences with your office. At one point, we had a meeting scheduled which never took place also. I have 5 points to raise with you. The first issue is the issue of the office of the Ombudsman's independence. You know, in terms of the Constitution, your office must be independent and only be subject to the Constitution itself and the laws of Namibia, which should be the Ombudsman Act. But when you look at even your budget as an independent office, your budget comes from the Ministry of Justice, the same Ministry of Justice which you must also investigate in terms of their administrative actions performance. If these provisions that subjects your office to even their budget, what subjects your budget to the Ministry of Justice are contained in any other relevant laws, whether it's the Finance Act or even in the Ombudsman Act itself. Why don't you think it will do justice to the office of the Ombudsman to even challenge the constitutionality of these provisions that subject you even to ministries you are supposed to investigate? Because there is no way, if you have to send out the investigators who are either complaining about even the Ministry of Environment, for example, the manner in which they issue the enforcement orders and all of that. But you are limited in terms of any other laws, or your independence is subjected to. For example, the Ministry of Justice is supposed to release funds for you to even investigate the Ministry of Justice. Because I think that's the starting point as the new Ombudsman going forward. You need to ensure and protect your independence as contained in the Constitution. That's the first point. The second point is you highlighted correctly that in terms of your role as the Ombudsman, you prepare a report which you refer to Parliament for debate. But there's there's a second leg to that, and that is where you can approach the court to either correct the wrongs that are being done, or to seek an interdict to stop the wrongs that are being done. And I think the office of the Ombudsman all over the years, the public, something probably Namibians have witnessed from the office of the public protector in South Africa, is that the Namibian Ombudsman is hardly in court. I want to know personally, and I think each and every Namibian would like to know, what is the fear of the office of the Ombudsman to approach courts? Because you will only learn in terms of even your powers, because they argue, the previous Ombudsman used to argue that your powers are quite very broad and it makes it very difficult to enforce. But for lawyers, when you are given powers that are broad enough, you should be accused of abuse of power. You shouldn't be scared of the broad powers imposed in terms of the Constitution to your office and limit yourself. So my point here, which I think the office of the Ombudsman should take home, is we need to see the Ombudsman much more in court. If there is a complaint, we refer the complaint on the appointment. I refer the complaint on the appointment of the Deputy Labour Commissioner. Yes, Deputy Labour Commissioner to your office. Your office wrote, they communicated with the office of the Minister of Labour, who indicated also that he was misled and didn't follow the law in the appointment. But nothing was ever done after that. We saw that the position was advertised. You know, we complained about the process followed in the appointment of that individual. We don't know whether the person meets the requirement, and that was not our argument also. But you realize that the same person got reappointed after the re-advertisement. But I think what should ring the bell in the mind of the Ombudsman should be that if processes were not followed previously, the person was appointed, probably they met the requirement, they were the best performing, but probably we don't even know whether there were interviews conducted. But I think the Ombudsman will be seen for the public to have done your job. When you come back to the public and also just report that you see this position was re-advertised, interviews took place, or this and this happened, this was the best performing candidate in terms of the outcome of the interview. Even a press conference. I don't think there is, I have not seen a provision, in fact, in terms of the Namibian constitution that establishes the office of the Ombudsman, which gives or which makes your work confidential. You are only subject to your act and the constitution, and I have not seen much provision, probably not in the act, but not in the constitution, that makes your work quite confidential. My third point is the issue of investigation. Upon a complaint to your office, you investigate matters. But one thing I've learned in my career as a lawyer, I've realized when you have powers, there's a second leg also to your powers to investigate. You may investigate on your own accord. There are always newspaper articles, as you have indicated, that journalists are the best investigators. If there is a newspaper article indicating that the certain minister of what has business interest in what and what, or is doing whatever, there must be, I think the work of the Ombudsman must be out in the public. If you write a query to the Minister of Works to inquire on any of the issues that is reported in the media, it should be reported. I mean, you should also respond to the public that you are investigating this, or you have written to the minister to explain this and this. Because the moment you start writing your letters, you file them in your cabinet and what, you are accountable to the Namibian people. And if you don't communicate to the people, we will never know what you are doing. And the next thing that will be thrown at you is that you are captured also. And the fourth point is the issue of environment. I think the young activists here touched on the issue of environment. I think going forward, you need to sit with the Ministry of Environment. You need to clarify your two roles. Your powers in terms of the Ombudsman Act and the Namibian Constitution on your role regarding the environment is quite very broad. But the Minister of Environment has certain specific powers. But it's not clear what is your role when it comes to the protection of the environment. And we have seen even these environmental impact assessments that are being conducted, even in Opuo there. Those are, and these public consultations that take place. We have seen those people, they come, they speak to 3 people, they report that there are no objections, or in fact, what you would notice is that there's a newspaper article that they are planning to build, whether it's a dam or whatever they are trying to build, no objections are received, they go ahead. And the same happens with these environmental impact assessments when it comes to sand mining. The community members, how on earth do you just, the next morning when you wake up, you see those politicians in the north are just digging behind your house, and then you are being told the person has the license. It's obvious that person would have objected. It's either we need to change our ways of, these are some of the biggest key issues that we need to see the office of the Ombudsman taking. Without, you will never receive complaints from Namibians. Namibians complain to newspapers. I think you need to start, I don't know whether, and that ties in with your budget. If there is anything that limits you from getting more money, you need to challenge it. If Ministry of Finance is giving you little money, you need to go to court. You need to see the office of the Ombudsman go in court.